Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take those big, sometimes confusing ideas, cut through the noise, and really get to the heart of what matters. And today, we're diving into something pretty fascinating. It's this persistent idea, this maybe learning hack, about finding a smarter way to learn English. Specifically, can you actually learn while you're asleep?
It makes sense why people want this, right? Learning a language, it takes effort,
Yeah.
a lot of effort. People are busy, they get tired, maybe feel a bit stuck. So the idea that you could use those, say, 8 hours of sleep, turn them into study time, it's incredibly tempting.
It really is. It almost sounds like magic. And you see it everywhere online, don't you?
Yeah.
Apps, videos, all promising fluency if you just put on headphones at night. But
Yeah.
this isn't some brand new internet thing, is it? It has a name, Hypnopedia.
That's right. Yeah, Hypnopedia, if you look back, maybe the 1950s, people were already trying this out. They had these machines, repeating sentences over and over while someone slept.
Right. And then science kind of stepped in and said, hold on, this is mostly, well, fake science. Lots of skepticism for decades. But the hope, that core idea, it never really went away. So our mission today, let's get past the myths. Let's look at the actual science. Is sleep learning just wishful thinking? Or is it maybe a real tool? And importantly, what can it actually do for you listening right now?
Exactly. And to figure that out, we really need to understand what your brain is doing all night. It's
Right.
not just resting passively. We need to see sleep as a very active, very busy processing time.
Okay, so let's start there. When I go to sleep, say, around 11 tonight,
Mm.
is my brain just clocking out, hitting pause?
Oh, not at all. That's a really common misunderstanding. Your brain is incredibly active. It cycles through different sleep stages, REM sleep and others. And during these cycles, serious work is happening. It's cleaning out waste products, it's organizing the day's information, and crucially, it's dealing with memory.
Memory. Okay, let's get into that. I like that analogy you used before we started about the brain being like a night librarian,
Yeah.
sorting through everything.
It's a great way to think about it, yeah. Like a librarian deciding which experiences, which bits of information from the day are worth keeping, which ones to catalog properly, and which ones are maybe less important, maybe just temporary notes. It takes those fragile new memories, like a new English word you learned, and starts making them more permanent, more stable.
So it's basically asking itself, okay, out of everything that happened today, what do I really need to hold on to?
Pretty much. And what's fascinating is how it decides. It's not just about how many times you saw something.
Right. So if I just scroll the list of 50 words quickly before bed, it doesn't automatically save all 50.
Not necessarily. The science points towards emotion and connection being really key. Your brain looks for signals. Did learning that word connect to something meaningful? A story, maybe? Was there a positive feeling associated with it? Even just a little one? If yes, the brain sort of flags it. This might be important. Keep it.
Ah, okay. So it's like the emotional centers of the brain are involved in tagging the data. This felt relevant, store it properly.
Exactly right. And that's why sleep isn't just downtime between study sessions. It's actually a vital part of the learning process itself. You do the initial learning awake, sure, but the strengthening, the consolidation, that happens during sleep. That's how knowledge really sticks.
That makes a lot more sense. But okay, if the brain's already busy doing all this internal sorting,
Mhm.
can we actually add more stuff from the outside? Can we successfully feed it English reinforcement while it's in that state?
Right, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where we need to look at the actual experiments. What does the evidence show?
Yeah.
Some early studies were, well, intriguing. They'd play simple things like word pairs, dog table, or something to people while they slept. And when they woke up, people couldn't consciously remember hearing them. But they could guess the pairs better than just random chance.
Interesting. So the brain was definitely picking something up. Like it heard a whisper, even if the person wasn't aware of it.
Precisely. It showed the brain was responsive, at least on some level. But the really crucial findings, the ones that tell us what works and what doesn't, came from more controlled studies, like that well-known Swiss study.
Okay, tell us about that one, because that seems to be where the myth starts to separate from the useful strategy.
Yeah, it was quite carefully designed. They had people learn a list of new foreign words right before sleep, words they hadn't encountered before. Then, one group, the key group, had those same words played back to them softly while they were asleep. The other group, the control, learned the words too, but heard nothing during sleep.
And the difference was clear.
Very clear. The group that heard the words again during sleep remembered significantly more of them the next morning. It was like the sleep playback helped cement those specific, recently learned words.
Okay, so that really pinpoints it. Sleep learning seems to work for reinforcing things you've already been exposed to. Consolidation.
Exactly. Reinforcement is the key word. And this is backed up by the experiments that didn't work. Every single time researchers tried to teach something completely new during sleep, totally unfamiliar vocabulary, complex grammar rules, it failed.
It just didn't stick.
Nope. It seems the sleeping brain is like a filter. If the incoming information doesn't connect to something already being processed, some existing memory trace, it just treats it as background noise. Irrelevant.
Okay. So back to my word example. If I've never ever heard the word serendipity before, playing it all night won't help. My brain ignores it. But if I spend even 2 minutes learning serendipity before bed, then playing it might help my brain file it away better during the night.
That's a perfect summary of the findings. Sleep is an organizational tool, a reinforcement tool. It's not really a teaching tool for brand new material. It's updating the system, not installing new software from scratch.
Okay, this is really helpful. So let's get practical for someone listening. What should you stop trying to do at night, and what could actually be beneficial? Let's start with the don'ts.
Right. What you absolutely cannot expect to learn effectively in your sleep is, well, two main things. First, complex grammar rules. Grammar requires active thought, comparison, understanding exceptions, practicing. Your sleeping brain just isn't set up for that kind of analysis. It can't puzzle out verb tenses.
Makes sense. And the second thing.
Fluency. The idea that you'll wake up speaking smoothly and naturally, that's pure fantasy, unfortunately.
Why not? If you're hearing the language.
Because fluency isn't just about knowing words, it's a physical skill too. It involves your mouth, your tongue, coordinating everything. It takes practice, making mistakes while you're awake, getting feedback. Think about it. You can't learn to ride a bike just by dreaming about it, right? Same idea applies to the physical act of speaking.
Okay. But you mentioned earlier that some studies showed the brain was responding to sounds, like word pairs. And you talk about passive listening improving. So why can't I just play grammar lessons quietly? Isn't that passive listening too? Where's the line?
That's a really sharp question. The line seems to be between recognizing sounds and understanding abstract concepts. Passive listening during sleep can help your brain get more comfortable with the sound, the rhythm, the melody of English. It starts to feel less foreign, less threatening. That's auditory recognition. But understanding why a certain grammar rule works or how to apply it, that needs your conscious, analytical mind to be active. Your sleeping brain hears the sounds of the grammar lesson, maybe, but doesn't process the meaning or the rules.
Okay, got it. Sound familiarity, yes. Rule comprehension, no. So let's flip it. What can sleep learning actually help with? What are the real evidence-based benefits?
Okay, the main one is what we focused on, supporting vocabulary retention, specifically for words or phrases you reviewed shortly before sleep, making those memories stronger. Second, related to what we just discussed, is improving your passive listening skills in a general sense. Your brain gets more attuned to the sounds of English. It finds them less jarring, maybe easier to parse when you are awake.
Which probably helps with feeling less overwhelmed when you hear native speakers.
Exactly, and that leads straight into the third benefit, which often gets overlooked. Building confidence.
How does that work?
Well, when your brain repeatedly hears English in a safe, low-stress environment like sleep, the language itself starts to feel more normal, more familiar, less like this big, scary other thing. That familiarity can genuinely reduce the anxiety or shyness you might feel about trying to speak the next day. It feels a bit more like it's already in you.
Okay, so if we accept it's about reinforcement, not magic, then how you do it becomes crucial. It sounds like the real work isn't just hitting play all night. It's more about what you do before you sleep, that preparation phase.
That is absolutely the secret. Preparation is, I'd say, 90% of making this work effectively. What you do in those, say, 20 minutes before bed is key. First things first. You need to be calm. Calm body, calm mind. You can't jump straight from scrolling through stressful news or busy social media into this. If your brain is buzzing with all that other stuff, it's not going to be receptive to the English input. It needs mental quiet.
Right, so create a calm transition. Then what about the actual content? What should you choose to listen to? Should I try that complex documentary I want to understand better?
No, definitely not. That's a common mistake. Avoid anything brand new, too fast, or too complex. Remember, the goal is reinforcement. So stick with familiar material. Ideally, something you literally just studied or reviewed that day, a simple story you read, maybe a dialogue you practiced, a few key phrases.
It's like you're telling your brain, hey, remember this stuff from earlier. Let's just gently go over it one more time. Watering the seeds, like you said.
Exactly. And remember that emotional tag we talked about? Try the smile tip.
Go
Just
ahead.
before you drift off as the audio starts, consciously connect a small positive feeling to what you're hearing, even a gentle mental smile towards the English phrases. Science suggests that positive association helps flag the memory for consolidation.
Okay, practical tips. What kind of audio works best then?
Best choices. Slow English stories, especially ones with some simple emotion or narrative. Short loops of phrases you're working on, maybe affirmations like, I am improving my English. Another really good technique is shadowing just before bed. Actively listen and repeat a short audio clip for just 2, 3 minutes. Then play that exact same clip quietly as you fall asleep. You've primed your brain perfectly.
And what should people definitely avoid playing? You mentioned complex stuff, but anything else?
Yeah, avoid fast news reports, too much information, often stressful. Avoid detailed grammar explanations again, wrong type of processing needed. Avoid anything loud or emotionally jarring. Your brain needs peace and quiet to do its consolidation work. Loud or agitating sounds will just disrupt your sleep quality.
That brings up volume and timing. How loud should it be? And should it play all night?
Volume needs to be very, very low. Think background whisper, like gentle rain far away. If you can easily make out the words consciously, it's probably too loud. Too loud disrupts deep sleep stages, which are vital for memory. And definitely do not play it all night. That's another big mistake. It interferes with your natural sleep cycles.
So just for a short period.
Right. Use a timer. Aim for maybe 30 to 60 minutes maximum. Just as you're falling asleep and into the first cycle or so, that's when the reinforcement seems most effective. Then let silence take over for quality rest.
And one last mistake to avoid, changing the audio every single night.
Yes, exactly. Consistency is crucial here. Use the same short story, the same set of phrases for several nights in a row, maybe 3 to 5 nights. If you keep switching it up, your brain doesn't get the repeated exposure needed to really solidify those specific memories. Let it sink in deeply over a few nights. Hashtag tag outro.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. For everyone listening, the takeaway seems clear. Sleep learning isn't some magic pill for instant fluency. Forget that idea. But it is a real science-backed tool. When you use it correctly, focusing on reinforcing familiar material just before, and as you fall asleep, it can genuinely help. It makes those words, those patterns, feel more automatic.
Absolutely. The goal shifts from learning new things to deepening familiarity. And that familiarity is the bedrock of confidence and quicker recall later on. I like the analogy of an English night garden. The words you actively learn during the day, those are the seeds you plant. The targeted sleep listening, that's like gentle, consistent watering overnight. It helps the roots grow stronger, quietly, without you even noticing.
And the good news is, you don't have to do some huge, complicated routine. It's about doing something small, focused, and doing it gently and consistently.
Exactly. And the payoff comes the next day. When you try to use those words or phrases, they often just come out a bit easier, a bit faster. Because your brain has spent time quietly processing them, marking them as known, familiar, safe. It's ready for them.
So perhaps the final thought for you to consider is this. Maybe stop chasing the noisy, stressful ways to cram information in. Reflect on how the strongest things often grow quietly. Trees, skills, even language. They strengthen beneath the surface with consistent, gentle nurturing. So tonight, maybe think about what small, familiar piece of English, a story you enjoyed, a few phrases you liked. What will you choose to gently plant in your own night garden, letting your amazing brain do its quiet work while you rest?